Creating a model is never a purely linear process, and some design changes are inevitable. With that in mind, knowing how to best implement those changes with either a feature or sketch modification is key to being an efficient designer. In this exercise, I'll modify the basic canoe model here to smooth it out and reposition its seats. The first modification I'll make is to round out the front and back of the model. I'll double-click the Sweep feature in the timeline to bring up the Edit Feature dialog box and switch the type to Path plus Guide Rail. Since I'll be keeping the profile and path of the feature and only need to add the guide rails, I'll enable that selection box. I'll select the curved line as the rail and click OK. Now, as I rotate the camera, you can see how the front and back are now rounded. With the new rounded ends, the sharpness of the bottom becomes even more apparent. To smooth it, I'll double-click the Loft feature used to make it from the timeline and change the profile type to Point Tangent. I'll make sure the tangency weight is set to 1, leave the rest of the feature's settings as is, and click OK. The overall shape is much smoother. And the final modification for this model is to move the seats closer to the center. The seats were created as a single web feature, so in order to move them, I'll need to modify the base sketch rather than the feature. I'll expand the Sketches folder in the browser and double-click the seat sketch to edit it. There is a set distance I want to apply, so I'll enable the Dimension command with the gesture down, then left, and add a dimension between the right line and the origin of 45 millimeters. I'll stop the sketch, and the web feature updates to account for the modification. The canoe design is now fully updated, so the final step is to add a material and check its mass. To apply the material, I'll right-click on the component's name at the top of the browser and select Physical Material. I'll expand the Wood folder, find the cherry material, and drag it onto the model. I'll close the dialog box. Right-click on the component name again and select Properties. In the dialog box that appears, you can see that the physical material is set to cherry, and the mass of the model is 6.695 grams.